Um, let's start. So welcome everyone, and let me tell you that 20 years ago, global expansion was mostly a game for larger companies. Today, with a 10-person business, you can run and go global. But the challenge is no longer access to tools or campaigns, databases, webinars, finding prospect emails. The challenge is about strategy or focus, meaning knowing where and how and on what to compete, and on execution, to execute a plan in a consistent way and at scale. And aligning between these two, strategy and tactics and execution, in a competitive and noisy environment is definitely a challenge. So what's unique about this webinar, maybe as opposed to the others that you have already attended, is that we are combining these two disciplines, which are typically discussed separately: go-to-market and strategy, and AI-powered and systemized execution. And on top of this, we're focusing on the challenges of B2B SaaS companies, software or AI native companies that want to go global. So just to introduce myself briefly, my name is Ainy. I'm the founder of Being Global. We help B2B software and SaaS and AI companies expand internationally, secure their first customers and channel partners, and avoid costly go-to-market mistakes. So by working together with hundreds of SaaS and software companies, we can contribute to our clients with a go-to-market strategy, defining where and how to compete globally with marketing plans, strategy marketing plans. We're going to touch these areas as well today. Partner ecosystem development, building partner programs and recruiting channel partners internationally. Most of you sooner or later will probably need that. And powered go-to-market execution, so executing with AI, with other tactics and tools, marketing plans based on a go-to-market strategy. So we are always on the look for new tools, which is what we're going to do with the help today of Eloo and our keynote speaker, Davida Ginter. She's the founder and CEO of Eloo. Davida, maybe you want to say hello to us?
Of course. First of all, great to be here. Hi, everyone. I can't see your faces. Maybe at some point we can. Thanks for hosting, Ori. I'm Davida, founder of Eloo. Eloo is an autonomous AI workforce that basically builds itself based on the business context and business goals. We're actually going to see some very concrete examples today. Previously, I led another startup, and before that, I actually owned a professional services firm operating in Israel, Sweden, and the US. So the topic of global expansion is definitely not new to me and something I've been working with and excited about for many years now. Always interesting to meet new audiences, penetrate new markets. So I hope we can provide a lot of value in this field today.
We definitely expect so. So I experimented a little bit with the Eloo tool and find it very useful for our community. In particular, I like the go-to-market motions that it promotes, the operationalizing factor that it's building like a machine for marketing. So I think it could be useful for our community of the B2B software SaaS companies going global. What's in it for you this webinar? What you should expect? First of all, helping figuring out your go-to-market strategy. We're not going to figure it out entirely, but give you the components and the basics to put together a strategy before you rush into the AI and spend your money and your tokens and your credits and so on. We're going to learn a new tool, but beyond that, Davida is going to learn us how she approaches AI agents, what is the methodology, what are the principles that she's applying. She's going to show us really global go-to-market use cases, which is going to be super interesting. But eventually, in order to reap the benefits of this webinar, you should and you can, with the help of Davida, set a 1-hour working session on your company and your business to put together and to actually launch your agents with the Eloo, so that you will have a very practical motion in place, AI motion in place. And all this, for this purpose is to have a smart, well-aligned go-to-market plan that can be systemized and scaled with AI. So just before we start, let me ask you a quick question so that we get to know you and your challenges. What is currently the biggest bottleneck to your global growth, the expansion? Lack of focus, meaning you don't know which markets to target, the ICP, pricing, sales channels, marketing, lack of pipeline, lack of partners, lack of execution capacity. Maybe you lack, you're unable to, you know what you want to do, what you need to do, but you're unable to execute. Let's share with us your responses. I see they're coming up. Let's give you people who are joining and answering. Let's wait a while. Okay, 10 more seconds. If anybody is really interested to add his bottleneck. Yeah, great. So, okay, let's share the results. Hopefully you can see them. So, okay, so you need, many of you market focus. We're going to address it in the first session. The pipeline and the partners, it lies between the strategy and the execution, okay? So with Eloo, you will see that you will be able to execute it, but in a smart way. And of course, lack of execution, you will be able to speed it up with the methodologies and with Eloo. So let's see what we can expect today and what our agenda looks like. Let's just share my screen. Right. So this is how the agenda looks like. We'll start with a strategy. Strategy is a vague term. People use it in various connections. Some related to something which is important, costly, long-term, waste of money, complex. So we're going to actually talk about the components of strategy and defining a coherent system of independent decision. This is what strategy is about. Okay, and we're going to elaborate about it to determine where you're going, how are we going to compete, and many important go-to-market questions. Then we follow with the main session with Davida about execution, beyond theory, okay, and strategy, using AI agents to operationalize and scale that system that you define with the strategy in a very efficient way. Davida is going to show us the methodologies, the Eloo tool, and some use cases. You're welcome to ask questions during the webinar, along the webinar, on the Q&A tab, please. But we'll address maybe some of them during the webinar and some of them in the Q&A session that we're dedicating in the last 10 minutes of this webinar. We're going to share the recording of this webinar. At the end, we're going to have very useful links. And one of the links is, or two of the links is going to be for our go-to-market session, strategy session, that will be with me. And another one is another consulting session. It's a hands-on session with Eloo and Davida to put your agents in place. Agent depends on your capacity. And once we end the Davida session, we're going to have, before the Q&A session, we're going to have some draws. After all, this is why we all gathered here, right? So we're going to have a raffle for a 3 months free premium package of LeadSpot. LeadSpot is a powerful platform for marketers for outreach. I'm going to talk about it later on, but it's really a 600 valued package, professional editions, 3 months of LeadSpot. Just stay with us. And once we finish the webinar, a survey will pop up in your screens with 6 questions. If you take the 1 minute to answer them, you will be entitled to participate in another $50 Amazon gift card. So let's start and talk about the strategy. Strategy defines the advantage, but AI will later scale it. But we need to be clear, what are we going to scale? So AI, as you know, can execute almost any strategy.
including bad ones, okay? So AI has actually no skin in the game. AI doesn't bear the consequences of decisions. It can suggest options or analyze them, of course, but it doesn't take risk. It doesn't lose money. It's not accountable. So that is our responsibilities. And therefore, we want to define a clever strategy. So there are many questions that we want to ask. So AI can accelerate the go-to-market execution, but what exactly are we accelerating? Because moving fast in the wrong direction is still wrong. And there are many questions that can be asked about the ICP, the target customers, the geographies, the channels, sales motions, what is your differentiator, many questions. So let's put them all in a framework that will enable us to decode this. And this is the strategy or the model to interpret or define a strategy. And you will see that it's a system of interdependent decisions. I'll just quickly cover the components. We're not going to dwell in details into them. Of course, the ICP, the ideal customer profile, your target customers, the product that you're selling or you're offering or your service, the way it's priced, it's both the model and the price. Is it higher priced or lower priced? The channels, are you selling directly, online, inside sales, or indirectly via channel partners or marketplaces? What are your marketing activities that you're taking? Are you doing webinars, outreach, inbound, videos, social media, and so on? So when you're talking about strategy, it's something that you cannot copy and paste it from other companies, from other competitors, because you're bearing your own risk. It's your budget. It's your history of successes and failures, and it's your DNA. So it has to be particular for you, and it should be based on market research, designed for your company, and it should be written. It doesn't have to be, you know, a 20 pages story, but it should be written, because only when you write it, you are confronting the contradictions of these different elements, because when you play with them, they impact the other elements. So when you put it all in a written fashion, then you can define a really solid strategy. Let me give you some illustrations. So imagine that your ICP, your target customers, are enterprise, big customers. Okay, so this will have a new impact on the product. You need a wide product, maybe a suite of products, a big platform with integration, security, and the onboarding process and the sales cycle will be longer and costlier. So the price will be higher, right? But it also can impact the pricing model. For example, if you're selling to enterprise sales to hospitals, hospitals like to be sold by number of beds, hotels by number of rooms or vacancy. And models are moving from a seat base, as you know, to consumption, to outcomes, to credits, such as the AI new agents and models are priced. So your ICP impacts your product, impacts your pricing, impacts your channels. If you need to do clever integrations to other enterprise systems, you may need system integrators or other resellers to open doors for you for big enterprise sales. Your marketing will look differently, because you will have to produce enterprise grade assets. And also you will not be able to target so many territories at the same time. Maybe you will go to Germany and to Spain, but covering 10 territories would be a much bigger challenge unless you have unlimited budget. And we're going to talk the unique selling proposition very soon. Or imagine that you are targeting small to mid-size companies, okay? So your product is, the onboarding is quite fast. It's like a self-service product. So it doesn't cost so much, but still it's a self-service. So you need the product to be able to do like a self-service onboarding, right? The pricing might be lower. You may be able to target several territories together. And if you want to move ahead with sales channels, that will be more challenging, because if the pricing is lower, you have less margin to share with your partners. So you cannot say, I want both, to have a very low price and I want to have engaged channel partners. It doesn't mean that it's impossible, but you have to figure out this contradiction. And the marketing will be led by a self-service or product-led growth motions. Now, when we're talking about ICP, I think this is one of the bridges and transitions between strategy and execution and AI tools that help us to execute faster and cleverer. Because within the ICP, you need also to define the personas and the signals and the triggers. And this is already, we're talking in a language of campaigns, of targeting, of tools. It's more like the practical part, but it depends on the customer's behavior. And the ICP is defined within the strategy. Just to illustrate to you a bit the complexity of this, but this is something that you need to figure it out. The unique selling proposition, it was one of the elements that I didn't elaborate on before. So here what you can see is what your customers want. This is what you can provide, and this is what your competitors do well. Obviously, you're looking for the sweet spot, this part with the green check mark, something the customer want, and you can provide it, and your competitors will find difficult to deliver it. But it's very difficult to find this spot, this unique selling proposition. Sometimes you need to do some changes. But you need to do something. You need to be able to have a unique selling proposition. What can you do? You can either change a product. It doesn't mean that if you're selling a software to hospitals, you'll start selling it to real estate agencies. No, but maybe you will need to add integrations or privileges or security layers or wrap it in a services offering. Or maybe you just need to replace your customers, not in the bad sense, but that would mean to focus on a certain narrower niche customers where your product is more prominent and has a competitive advantage. And this strategy puzzle is tougher because the competitors are involved. In the previous slide, it was like our own self-decision, but we understand that that's not the case. We need to take into account what's going on with our competitors. Let's gradually move into the execution, but just a minute before that. Let's take this example, okay? Because you can have different scenarios, businesses, products, companies, with different go-to-market systems, but the same AI. Okay, use Eloo or other systems, but your go-to-market systems will be different. So if you have an enterprise security solution, which is a complex sale, a heavy sale, imagine Palo Alto or product suits like that. These are complicated sales, compliance-led, long sales cycles, multi-stakeholders. You may need partners to help you open doors, and they also do integrations and implementation. You need to produce enterprise content. While on the other side, imagine a lightweight HR SaaS solutions for time attendance, I don't know, a Bamboo or a recruitment module. It doesn't mean that all HR systems are not enterprise, not at all. Imagine SuccessFactors, it's an enterprise HR or it's called human capital management system. So, but in this case, for our example, we're talking about a lightweight product-led motion, self-service product. It takes days or weeks to sell, lower touch onboarding, with a lot of in-product personalization, using triggers, automated onboarding sequences. So it's a different type of marketing. There's some overlapping, but it's a different one. And you want to define it before you move to the agents, okay? Let's see some more examples. And here we're talking about a very common area for when we're talking about go-to-market and agents, about the ICP, the signals, and the triggers. So the signals, the company is relevant for me, while the trigger, now is the right time to engage. So of course, the trigger needs to be observable, detectable, actionable, and also early enough to engage customers. So in this case, again, we have the cybersecurity enterprise solution. The ICP are regulated enterprises for this particular case. The persona will be the CISO. The signal might be, this is just an example, it's not a rule, of course, security hiring, and the trigger, that's a wonderful trigger if you can detect it, of course, recent security incident. While in our HR lightweight SaaS solution, the ICP could be a growing mid-market firms, for example. The persona is the HR director. She has different needs, or he has different needs, different pain points. The signals might be hiring growth, and the trigger could be just the nomination, the first role, the first dedicated HR manager, for example. This is already essential for your campaigns and for operationalizing your go-to-market. Another example, IT service management. These are ticketing services. So imagine that on the left-hand side, your ICP are enterprise IT organizations. The persona could be the IT director. The signal might be using incumbent ITSM platforms or competing platforms that are older platforms, well established in the market, but getting older and older, but still with a lot of functionality. And the trigger might be, that's a wonderful trigger, by the way, vendor announces the end of support or merge of another company and migrating to that solution. That could be an excellent trigger. Or another example, digital asset management. It's called DAM. These are systems for managing digital asset management for marketeers. So the ICP might be a marketing intensive organizations, the persona, a marketing operation manager, and the signal could be a high content production volume, while the trigger is expansion into multiple countries. When you expand to multiple countries, you have a problem sharing your assets across borders, across the time zones. So that might be a particular trigger for this case. But this is linked exactly to your strategy. So to go quickly, running campaigns or AI agents is not a strategy, okay? It's execution without a system. So what we're promoting here is to build your system, your go-to-market strategy, then put together a short marketing and sales plan, out of which decide which items you want to automate and delegate to AI agents. You don't need to do all of them, but you can gradually move more and more motions in a systemized way to AI agents. Well, Davida is going to show us some of the use cases that you can use AI agents for building go-to-market systems geared at global expansion, okay? But there are several and many others. Hopefully she will show us more. So some of the things that she's going to show us is buying signal detection. So how to continuously identify companies in selected markets based on the signals, the triggers that we discussed, how to detect them, enrich, and prepare your sequence, your outreach sequence. Or global partner sourcing. Okay, you want to look for channel partners, you need to define their IPP, ideal partner profile, the type of partners, the qualification criteria, but then you want a mechanism to scan them, enrich, score them, prioritize, so you can approach them. Customer proof generation. So in B2B sales, I don't know if you know that, the most important thing is not strategy, not AI, not videos, not social media, but references. When you have a customer, finally a customer, it's a marketing asset. You need to leverage on it. You need to obtain a testimonial, the customer's logo, issue a press release, trigger a collection of reviews in Captira on G2. This is a system and process that hopefully we can automate with Eloo. Partner evaluation, you already have partners, but not all of them are equal. Some will be more engaged, others less engaged. So you need to have a system that can qualify them, evaluate them continuously so that you can focus on the right partners, those that engage, those that drive pipeline, those that communicate with you, those that download assets from your portal or whatever. And competitive intelligence, this is the most straightforward one, to have like a weekly review of what's going on in your industry with your competitors so that you will be able to improve your strategy and optimize your campaigns. So how do we operationalize it into processes that run continuously? That's exactly what Davida is going to show us. And without any further ado, I'm thrilled to hand it over to you, Davida, and the stage is all yours.
Perfect, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm going to share my screen in a second. And out of curiosity, maybe you want to everyone drop in the chat if you have ever built an AI agent, yes or no, and also what did you use, which tool or system did you use to do it? Very, very curious to know. No wrong. Perfect. So I'm starting. Honestly, this is This is a very, very new field. I know everyone is talking about agent. I know I am. But still, we're talking about a time span of just a few months. So totally fine if we haven't tried something yet. This is what we're here for today. An agent, sometimes it feels like magic, right? It's not. An agent is software. The difference between an agent and the previous software we all used to know is that agent is a non-deterministic software. So it's not pre-built rules that the software is following. An agent is basically following guidelines and purpose. That means it has autonomy. It can plan. It can decide what actions to take in order to achieve the goal. So actually a good agent will be the one that you give it a purpose or a goal it needs to pursue, and then some guidelines, and maybe even guardrails, which is important. Guidelines, it's how it should operate. Guardrails protect it and protect you from taking unwanted actions. So you might go, hey, go and find me these leads, but the guardrail will be, but don't touch a specific industry. I'll give an example from Eloo. We are after professional services agencies and SMBs. We stay away from highly regulated industries. That means that when I set up an agent, I will tell them, go and find me new prospect, new leads, new businesses, but don't go to regulated industries such as banking, medical, aviation, etc. So you want to give it a purpose, you want to kind of steer it a bit, and then you go, you to tell them just to go and do the work, but you can also set those guardrails to exclude what is unwanted. And now, if I can actually show some concrete examples, I think we can dive into building agents together. Now, this is the plan for the next few minutes. Let's see if it's 15, 20. We're going to build some agents together. Obviously, the examples are all about global expansions. Now, I came in with my ideas and examples, but if you'd like me to build something that you have in mind, an idea, literally put it in the chat and we'll try to do this together, because what you're seeing here is a system to build agents. Again, it's not pre-built. We can actually do this together here on the spot. All right, so this is how we're going to do this together. This is our system. This is Eloo. Can anyone just drop a quick yes if you see my screen and it's kind of running and everyone can hear me? Perfect. This is what I needed. All right, so before we get started, think of any system. It doesn't have to be Eloo, right? Any system to build agents, like something that you will onboard a new employee. So when you onboard a new employee to your business, even if they are the most talented one, you can't expect them to operate without context and without access. So context is you telling them about your company and how you operate. Access is giving it access to your tools and relevant data. It doesn't have to be everything, especially not everything all at once, but you do need to give it something to let it operate. So here in our system of Eloo, I'll jump into settings, and here in company, we can actually put the company context so that every agent, and of course there's more place to put documents, etc. But the idea is that every agent that you will operate knows who you are, what you're doing, who you are selling to. And speaking of the strategy that Ori presented before, this is exactly a good place to drop your strategy and let the agents read from there, because they're going to execute based on your strategy and plan. So this is where we put context. Integrations is what we talked about, access, giving them access. So you can see, for example, my agents can already pull data from my inbox, from my email, from my calendar, from all of my drive, basically. Slack, needless to say, my CRM, HubSpot, right? And you can give it whatever you want. By the way, even if you don't give it access originally, like in the first place, once you start running an agent, if it needs access, it will tell you. This is how we built our system, all right? So let's get going. I'm going to jump into the first use case. Actually, I'd love if you can see the prompt together. Can you see my Google Doc now? Or it's still the system?
we can see
You
it.
can see the Google Doc. Perfect. All right. So I prepared this prompt, and this prompt basically helps me find new channel partners that will actually help me expand into the US markets. I chose this because, you know, when we go globally, sometimes we don't have feet on the ground and we want to get the help of an already operating organization in the new territory. And so we're going to recruit them to help with us. Maybe we can do a revenue share model, whatever, it doesn't matter, right? First, we just want to find them. So this is how I structured the prompt that I'm going to drop into Eloo in a second. Build an agent that finds Eloo potential channel partners that will help us expand into this market. I just started with the goal. Always start with your desired goal that the agent need to pursue. And then I'm going to specify a bit. I don't have to do this. Eloo will ask me if I don't give these details, but I want to because that means slightly more accurate results. So I'm going to say we sell into professional services firms, SMBs. They aren't technical. They usually don't have an IT department. So I also help it to filter a bit. So when I get the list of 20, 40, 50 leads, I don't then need to go and say, oh, these 10 are irrelevant because they have the IT department, right? So I want to set some filters to begin with. And then I give some more words. A potential channel partner should have access to our ICP and market. Maybe they have an existing network, but they are not competitive to us. Important, right? And then lastly, I chose to give an example. For example, they could be offering consulting to SMBs, but without the implementation. Now, why do I give an example? I don't have to. It will operate even without it. Because again, think about a new employee. They know what they are doing in terms of their background. They get the goal, they get the task. But if you give an example, it just paints such a clearer picture for them. So I give it an example. I can even add some more, but this is something to get started with. I'm going to copy this prompt. Okay. I'm going to go back to Eloo. Hopefully you can see now the platform. Quick yes. You can see the Eloo system. Perfect.
Yes, we can.
Yeah. So I'm going to drop it here as is, and I'm just going to hit run. Nothing more than that. So what's going on here? Eloo is having now a conversation with me. The agent is now being built. It's going to ask me some clarifying questions if needed. If not, it will just run and complete the building part. So it first builds the agent. Oh, there we go. Now I have some questions popping up on screen. So it asks me how many partners you want per run, like every time it runs. You know what? I'm going to go with default, like 10 partners. Doesn't matter for now. I can change it later. Oh, what types of potential partners? By the way, these are questions I could not anticipate in advance because, again, it's an agent. It's running with me. So let's say I do want to do business consultants. All right. And then lastly, schedule. Do I want to do it manually, like every time, or do I want to regular? All right, let's do weekly. I want each week to receive a fresh leads list. Submit answers. All right. So as we said, we're going back to the building part. The agent is not running yet. It's just being built to make sure it understands what I want it to do. It's going to take a couple of minutes. I know we're kind of watching it, but I think it's better than watching the Mondial, no?
Davida, as we're waiting for the agent to finish his work, there's a very important question.
Yes.
I don't know if you seen the Q&A, but Matan is asking what is the difference between like entering a prompt into Claude to do
and
this while using a Eloo tool? What's the...
Absolutely. Excellent question. By the way, I will refer to it in a second. What we're seeing in the meantime on the screen is a flow chart of the steps in case we want to follow what it's going to do, and it's important to understand. And to the right, we're going to see the actual flow charts. So it's going to run, weekly, Monday morning. I can always change the time. It's going to discover by doing a web search. It's going to enrich them by finding their LinkedIn profile and hopefully emails, and then give me a ranked report. So not just a report, but they're going to rank them based on how they fit my needs. All right, so what's the difference between this and Claude? So it depends which Claude. With Claude Code, you can basically an agent, deploy it in the terminal, upload it, and it will work. But you need to do some coding work. With Claude Cowork, you can potentially do this. However, Claude Cowork is lacking the deep scraping capabilities, and obviously the LinkedIn integration, which again, you can go and fetch some APIs. We are using an authorized APIs, well, for all of them. First of all, so that accounts are not getting blocked, which is important. I don't know if you probably want to protect your LinkedIn account. But more than that, we can time the agents. They can talk to one another. So this is just the first agent I'm building with you, but we can then build another agent that speaks to the first agent. So we have collaboration. So we basically added to this platform everything you need to do in one place. Instead of getting out and finding tools, finding the APIs, coding agents talking to one another, basically you have everything under one roof without needing to write code, not even vibe coding, just, kind of plain language here. So this is the main difference. All right, so my agent is now, if you've seen the pink button is now enabled, and I can actually publish that. That means it's going to appear right here in my agents list. Now you can actually see my agent list, because before we were building, now you can see all the agents I'm using for my work. I have different ones. I've tested a few before our session, but basically I have agents doing some marketing, both the brief and the materials. I have agents running on my email. And for each agent, by the way, I can see which tools they are connected to. So before we started the webinar, I actually already built a channel partner finder, because I wanted to get the result really ready for you fast. So I'm going to show you the recent run and the results, and let's see what it has found for me. It's the same agent we just did, same prompts. Not that one, sorry. It removed it from here. All right, so I have it downloaded just in case. So I'm going to pull this up for you. 1 second.
Just to comment that the video is showing us some use cases related to global go-to-market, but of course the platform, you can use it for many sales, customer success, marketing operations. But I think another thing that I liked about the tool is about the systemizing factor that you have about it. So it's not just a single prompt, which provides you single results, but it forces you to create a system. It helps you, it forces you to create a working sales, marketing, customer support, customer success motions.
Yeah.
We can see now the file.
Yeah, sorry about the mess. Just way too many open files. So this is an empty file. It's not pretty, but I can actually send it directly into my Google Sheets. So it looks prettier within a table. I can set it to Notion, to Airtable. It's complete. It found me total candidates evaluate 30, but top candidates profile 10. So the reason Eloo has done it this way, because it actually found 3 candidates, but then it evaluated them against my criteria. So for example, it has written here, 16 are excellent fits. It just found a way to kind of rank them against my favorite criteria. And now it has the name. So the first one would be Meta Viable Solutions. Okay, let's see if it's a good fit. It's a fractional CEO consulting, providing operational leadership. So for each one of those, Eloo has actually gone and done a thorough research about them, and also included the reasoning why they are supposed to be a good fit for me. I can see all their details, contact details, the LinkedIn, where they're based, New Jersey, since when they're operating from, why they're a good fit, market overlap, complementary offering. So it actually checked that it's not a competitive, zero competition. I'm running this pretty fast because I want to get to another use case, but just for you to see, it also ranked for me how it thinks about it. So basically, it's not just a plain list of leads or potential channel partners. It's a ranked and qualified list. I believe that, because I've checked this before, yes, that it also included for me some text that I can send to them. So for example, here I have some first conversation goals, and then some text, some initial emails that I can already send based on their context. That means, I'm going to pause the sharing for a second, and that relates to the question before about Cloud Co-work. They can't pipe agents together. that if I'm going to create a new agent that actually going to send those emails on my behalf, agent number 2 is going to pull the list from agent number 1 and send those emails without me even need to be involved. I can approve if I want. I can have an approval gate. It doesn't have to be fully autonomous. But basically, once I trust agent number 1 with the list of channel partners, agent number 2 will automatically, or with my approval first, will send those emails directly to the potential channel partners. So what I used to do with a full-time employee in my previous agency, now I can basically do with 2 agents running for me on a weekly basis. I only need to set this up once. Okay?
Davida, Rotom
Yes.
is asking, do you need to give it access to a personal data source like ZoomInfo or Apollo to get the contact details? Or...
Good question. Yeah, good question. So it really depends if their data is exposed online or not. In my case, many times, and it could be other industries as well, obviously, the details are already in line in case the agent can do deep scraping. We cover deep scraping. That means that as long as their email or contact details are somewhere online, our agents will find it. Now, if it's a specific person and you need their private email, not the company email or their professional email, or their personal cell phone, and it's not visible online, then yes, you can connect one of your enrichment tools like ZoomInfo. And honestly, we're going to cover that in a couple of months. We're going to add this data anyway, but if you already have the subscription to ZoomInfo, you can do that. But like I said, in case it's online, our agent will find it. Can it verify if it's, we've not communicated? Yes. Perfect question. We have built a mechanism that is called deduplication. So if the agent is running on regular cadences, every day, every week, every month, its job is first to find out what has the list contained before. So the new leads it's bringing in are always fresh. This is when it's doing the deduplication. So every run will bring leads that you have not contacted before. I hope that answers the question. Okay? Always new and fresh leads, just by comparing the two. More thoughts and questions? Otherwise, we can jump into the next use case. Can you do social listening? Of course. So I was thinking to present a use case of competitor. Actually, you know what? Let's do the buying intent signals, and it will answer to social listening as well. I think it's going to cover this question. Okay. So the next agent I wanted to show you is something that can actually read who are the companies or potential companies that you want to try to sell into. So I'm going to show you again the prompt, and we're going to again drop it within Eloo. Google Doc coming up. So instead of just trying to sell to everyone and everywhere, never a good idea, I want to find those who are actually interested in my category. I'm going to give the examples of, again, my business, my category. We are selling to businesses who want to adopt AI. Now, I know that in my category, and it's a huge one, it's like a 200 billion market, only 40%, which is still a lot, but still only 40% are now in the market, want to try and maybe buy AI agents. So I'm not going to target all 100%. I want to find those who show buying intent signals. I'm not sure what are the signals are. Are they hiring someone? Do they post about it, talking about social listening? Do they answer questions? Do they comment on posts? I'm not sure, but I'm going to try. So in this case, I'm going to tell Eloo, find me 20 accounts. I'm just going to start with 20, see if it's the right fit, that show buying intent signals for my category, adopting AI agents, run weekly, and ideal accounts are, and then I said who are kind of my thing, and I want to focus on hospitality services. Now, I know I'm not saying it, telling it what are the signals. I want to see if Eloo can find those by itself. Let's challenge it a bit, otherwise it's not fun. I'm back into the platform. I'm dropping this prompt. If you want, we can share all of this later with you, and I'm going to run it. Now, hopefully, it's going to ask me now, because I have no idea what it's going to ask me. Hopefully it's going to ask me or suggest me some buying intent signals, and I get to choose or let it, or going to tell him, do whatever you understand. Okay, delivery. Yeah, give it to me by email. I can add. All right, there we go. What buying intent signals matter most to you? Let's see. Do I want to see job posting? Honestly, not relevant to me. Recent funding. Now, that's a good idea. If someone just closed fresh funding, they might be needing some more AI to do work. Tech adoption signals. Yeah, they could adopt some tools. Event and content engagement. Potentially. And I can also do other and provide custom. I'm going to do the recent funding, relevant to my case, but you can do whatever you want. Company size, I'm going to go with the small ones. It's going to be interesting. Submit answers. And that's it. Now, Eloo's job is to scan the web. So it's both search and scraping, not the same, by the way. You want to do both. And find me not just interesting or potential customers, but actually prospects, or actually those who show some intent in my category, something they either posted or actually closed some fresh funding. And this is going to appear. I'm going to pause. There we go. Let's see. Discover hospitality companies by web search, and then validate intent signals. Look up Crunchbase. Oh, that's a nice idea. I didn't even think about it. Maybe they have some funding rounds or acquisition. And then score and rank and give me the list. That's pretty much it. Now I can continue with this and publish the agent, but I'm going to pause because I'm sure you have questions and or ideas for agents that we can actually now prompt and run together. But hopefully this communicates the idea of agents could run on external data on the web and internal data from your tools. Here's another quick example. We're not going to do it, but let's say you want an agent that actually listens to your calls with customers and then find only the good testimonials, like the success stories, and then create marketing materials with those testimonials and even publish those for you. Now think of the workflow. It listens to the customers, pulls success stories, create marketing materials, let you approve, publish it for you. Relies on internal data, but with external customer-facing output. And I'm going to pause and listen to you. Questions, ideas, thoughts, things you want to try together.
I see that Sharon has a question about someone clears. Where do you see the results of this
yes, sure.
Where are the results presented?
In our case, in Eloo, I can share the screen again, but in our case, it appears in several places. I'm going to show you. It's going to take just a second, but it's a good question. Now, you have several places where you can see. For each agent that I'm running, you can see the most recent results when I click recent run. Here's one I know has been running, so I'm going to hit recent run, and I'm going to see the most recent results. This is an agent that runs daily for me in my inbox and tells me which one I need to follow. So here's one place where I can actually see the results. Okay, some internal issues, but no worries. Internal, I mean information from my inbox, but that's fine. So you can see the results here when you click on in the agent panel recent run. But also all results are sent automatically to your email, the very same one you signed up with to the platform. So even if I shut this down, because some agents I don't need to open Eloo, it runs in the background, right? I'm not going to open Eloo every day to see my results. They're going to automatically deliver to my email no matter what. I can always send them to my Slack, populate a Google Sheet, send them to Notion, send them to Airtable. And all files are also downloadable. So you have it here, you have it in the email, and you can always direct it or instruct it to send it to one of your tools, Google Doc, Google Drive, wherever you need it. Okay?
There was also Davida I saw before a question about running it on platforms like N8N, or would be the difference running it on
Yes.
Eloo on this type of platforms?
Absolutely. I'm going to answer this, and then we're going to take one idea from Sam here and going to build this together. So N8N is a wonderful tool, by the way. I used to use it before I could do the plain language thing. N8N is really about connecting many, many, many tools together with nodes. So literally, if you know you have tons of tools, you want to kind of go into the N8N terminal and you just want to create a workflow together, this is a great tool to do this. The difference is with Eloo, it's not just a workflow, it's an agent that takes decision. So you can literally just tell it your goal, your purpose, company context, and that's it. Like, step aside and let it suggest you how it's actually going to build it and what it's going to do. We coded Eloo based on so much data and best practices that it turns it into an agentic, even to the sense that it gets who you are. It will suggest you how to do that, how to build it, how to run it, how to execute, right? So here's a nice suggestion here by Sam. Find integrations of biometrics recognition who are looking to add voice recognition. Why not? Let's do this. All right, jumping back into Eloo. Share my screen, and Sam ping me later. I'm going to send you the results. I'm going to drop my email at the end, right? So I'm going to drop this as it is. I'm not even changing what Sam wrote. I'm just going to run it. Okay. And again, ideally, it will ask me enough clarifying questions. It's an agent that builds agents. So it should think first. It should plan first before it executes. 2 phases: planning, execution. Okay, let's do it manual. It doesn't matter, right? We can change it later. Sam, I have no idea if you're going globally, North America, or Europe. So type in the chat, or I'm gonna decide for you. Anything came in the chat?
Global, global.
Global, amazing. All biometrics, face and fingerprints. What do you think? Access control. I'm learning new things every day. Let's do all, just for fun. Send this to Google Sheets. Yes, I want a Google Sheet this time. All right. And that's it. It's going to build this for me. You're going to see the workflow in a second. And oh, create a new sheet on existing one. Of course, create a new sheet. It's my first time doing biometric. Sam, maybe you and I can start a new business. Let's see, after the webinar. All right, so it's going to be built. I'm not going to hold you here. Maybe more questions or thoughts. Otherwise,
Davida, there is a question about, of course, the pricing. Is there a cycle limitation for each agent? How does it reflect? Is it reflected in the pricing due to credits, API usage, and so on?
Right. There are tiers. So for each, because we didn't want surprises at the end of the month. So for each tier, you buy X amount of credits, and X amount of credits are enough for X amount of agent runs. So for example, if you put $50 per month, you know your agent or agents in plural, it doesn't matter how many agents, can run 50 times. So let's say you have one agent running daily and another one or two running weekly. 50 runs, which is $50, should be more than enough to cover all 3 agents running in those cycles. And the tax could be more complex. It doesn't matter. It's a question of like end to end. That's how many, that's what the credits are good for. In the meantime, we see the flow here. So it's gonna search biometric integrators on the web. And then it's gonna qualify and again deduplicate to make sure the list is always fresh and we don't receive the same names time and again. It's gonna enrich them with LinkedIn profile. I did not ask for this. Eloo took initiative. I don't know if it's need it or not, we can always go back to the chat here and say, I don't need LinkedIn, just remove it, and it will do it. And that's it. Save it into a new Google Sheet, a fresh Google Sheet. All right, I'm going to pause. We're going to send it later if you want. All right.
Davida, maybe we can take some of the questions. There are still some questions to the
There's some
Q&A
questions.
session.
Yeah. How do they talk to each other? Right. So with Eloo, and again, this is something that each platform is doing slightly different. No worries, Sam. I'm going to send it to you. How do we do the piping together? When you build two agents that need to talk to each other, you build agent number one. Really, I'll give an example from another field, right? Because we kept talking about leads. For myself, I built an agent that is doing my marketing brief. Every quarter, I want a new marketing brief. It knows my goals for this quarter, so it can create everything I want to do in terms of the strategy, going back to Ori's strategies, right? But this time for marketing. And now I'm going to build agent number two, which is create a monthly calendar of LinkedIn, or all posts, not just LinkedIn posts, a monthly calendar of content. And I'm going to write it, use another agent, like the marketing brief agent, results when you create those posts. This is all I have to tell Eloo. Use another agent result. And then Eloo will open a list, make sure I'm clicking the right agent number one to feed into agent number two. That's it. Now agent number two, create my content calendar for the entire month based on my marketing brief, which is agent number one. I can then create agent number three. And agent number three says, actually write the posts for me. Write something different for X, LinkedIn, and Substack, my platforms. But you're going to use agent number two, which is the calendar, just the topics. The calendar is just topics. So it's all in plain language. You just need to tell it, use another agent results for this agent input. I hope that answers the question. By the way, Ori, did you say I'm offering one-on-one? Like if anyone needs something more specific, we can give my calendar. We can jump on like a one-on-one tutorial.
Yeah, let's take the remainder of the questions to the Q&A session, if there are any left, because we want to run our raffle now. Davida, anything that you want to add important before we end?
Agents are executors. Treat them like employees, give them context, give them access, and they're going to do just great the more you instruct them.
Perfect. So thank you very much, Davida. It was, I mean, I was acquainted with the tool, but I discovered new things and it raised me some new ideas that I think about it. It's really a magic. I see it as a magic, but you need to take it to the right directions. But now let's have some fun, okay? You're very good students so far. So we want to run this raffle for LeadSpot, a 3-month free premium package valued nearly $600. You can check in the price list, courtesy of LeadSpot. And what is it? It's an outreach platform for marketeers to conduct outreach campaigns. It has a search engine of 50 million companies. Davida, maybe you can integrate Eloo into that. It has AI smart search and prospect qualification, AI messaging, lookalike companies where you can search, CRM integration, LinkedIn templates, and it also has an extension, a Chrome extension. So it's a full professional package that you can use it for 3 months with no commitment. You can run your campaigns, and after that, decide if you want to subscribe or not. But 3 months will give you plenty of time to do real marketing with it. So let's run a raffle live and see who's the lucky winner. Let me share our let's see our wheel of names. And let's start. Oh, so we have a winner, Yael Zafran. Congratulations, Yael. We will get in touch with you and provide you more details about how to get this package. Let me share with you very important links that you probably need to be aware of. And as I'm doing it, you can ask, of course, more questions in a Q&A chat. Maybe, Davida, you can look also in the chat itself. I also saw some interesting questions that may not have been covered so far.
Yes.
Let's see. Yes. You can see some useful links. I'm going to copy paste it into the chat. So this is how to get in touch with me. This is to join our meetup communities for more meetups or webinars or tip or a newsletter. This is to set a link to set a meeting for the go-to-market consultation. And this is Eloo's website. And most importantly, reap the benefits of this event. Set your meeting with Davida so that you can actually build your first agents. Yeah, let's see if there are any questions that you want to address, Davida.
There are a few interesting ones. I'm going to pick a few.
Yeah.
I start from the end, which is not a great idea, but still. David asks, how can I use it to target technical personnel for a niche product in the defense industry who would be open to testing a competing product? Okay, here's an idea. It starts from a strategy, but then we can go to execution. I was able to get quite a few customers into Eloo by spotting who is responding to my competitor posts on LinkedIn. So I built an agent that knows my competitors. It goes and checks their posts, say once a week, it doesn't matter, right? And it finds who commented in an interested way. So they are interested. This is something positive about my competitor offering. So the agents spot those, and now I have a list of individual people who are actually interested in my category because they commented on a competitor post. Now what I did is agent number 2, it needs to go through the list of those people who commented and match them against my ICP. Would they make a good customer for Eloo? And that kind of narrows down the list to people who are A, interested because I know they're interested in my competitor offering, but maybe they haven't heard of Eloo. And B, they actually match my ICP. And now I have a short list, but highly targeted list of people I can reach out to. Honestly, brought out many, many customers. So true story that worked for us. Maybe it will work for you too. Can it verify? I think we answered that. Do you give it? I think we answered that as well.
Integration to CRM, did we talk about it?
Yes, yes, we have integrations to all major CRMs. Honestly, we are adding on to integrations by the day. So if someone needs something and it doesn't exist, just let me know. It might be that 10 other people have asked for it, and it makes a great use case for us to add an integration. You need 2 different agents. Can you use one? Okay, you can use one agent that does multiple steps. I will say, I'm answering Sharon's questions now. From my experience, when you separate the agents, it always gets better results, always. There are several reasons for that. One is technical. There's something that is called context window. It's true to all LLMs, not even tools like mine. And the more you make it easy for the context window, the better the result. So if you separate the 2 agents, it's a lower load on the actual LLM, the infrastructure. Reason number 2 is that sometimes you want agent number 1 to just verify the list before you take action with agent number 2. So if you want agent number 1 first to just filter and agent number 2 to take action, you don't want to do it together, because it will take action with a list that hasn't been qualified or filtered first. My recommendation, separate them. How would you position Eloo versus other agent platforms? So it really depends which agent platform. My pleasure. Dubi is asking about other agent platform. Yes, we have an integration with Zoho. Other integration platform, it really depends. So some other agent platform are very niched. They are kind of just about marketing or just about sales. So sometimes it's a better case to use them. But if you want something that plays across your stack and department and business, this is what we built Eloo for. So in the coming version, which is now in beta stage, I didn't even show it to you because I kind of wanted to be focused on those agents. We have a full AI workforce coming from one company brain. All departments talk to one another. And that's exactly what we want to bring in you. You have the business needs, just like employees, understand one another context, and they don't work in silos, in separation. We are doing the same for agents. Dana is asking, can I implement the agent's characterization that I already have? If they are in files, any type of file, the answer is yes. If they are already built in code, my team will be happy to assist, but it's not something you can do directly through that. Like you as a user, we need to go behind the scenes and do this. So if it's in files, you can use them currently with Eloo. If it's in code, talk to me. I'll bring someone from the team to help you push it into Eloo. Files, perfect. That should work. Can you send recording? This is a question to you about the recording.
Yeah, we'll share the recording. I think we should wrap up because we were like exceeding our time because so many questions, but that's great. Maybe we'll pick up off webinar some of the questions that were not addressed. We'll review them. Davida, thank you very much. I think this session made us all better marketeers. It raised a lot of ideas, creativity. So what I want you to remember is two things. One of them is that strategy defines the advantage and AI will scale it. Secondly, that we have a survey that will pop up in your windows to get entitled to the off-webinar Amazon gift card raffle. And I hope that today's sessions help you think differently about both sharpening your go-to-market strategy and scale it with AI. And I'm wishing you success in your global growth journey. So thank you, Davida. Thank you, everybody. Take care.